What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and as I previously reported to you all, the other day there was a special Senate hearing about UFOs. Now, personally, I was really excited about this hearing, but I gotta be honest, it was very disappointing in my opinion. I was hoping for more information, more transparency. But it's clear to me now that they still want to dance around this topic. They don't really want to get to the point. They don't ask hard-hitting questions. And you know, this was only, I believe, the second or third time that there was a hearing like this that was available to the public about UFOs. So, you know, I was hoping for a lot more, but we really got basically nothing. But they did release a new video of a UFO flying over combat zones in the Middle East. And they did reveal that the U.S. is currently tracking over 650 UFOs all across the world. Now that number may be alarming to you. 650 UFOs being tracked by the American military as we speak? I mean, that sounds crazy, right? But that's reality. But they went on to say that they don't necessarily believe that any of these UFOs are from outer space. That they don't necessarily believe that any of these UFOs are aliens, if you will. They mainly just blame China. What do you know? And now it's starting to appear to me that this recent wave of being more open about UFOs, it doesn't seem like they're being more open about the existence of extraterrestrials. No, it seems like they're trying to be more open about UFOs so they could basically point the fingers at China and just use this as another excuse or another reason as to why we need to go to war with China. But before I go any further into that, let's go ahead and dive into this article. U.S. tracking more than 650 potential UFOs, official says. The U.S. government is investigating more than 650 potential UFO sightings, a Pentagon official confirmed on Wednesday. Sean Kirkpatrick, director of the Defense Department's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, made the revelation in an appearance before a subcommittee of the Senate Armed Service Committee. The sightings are concentrated off the East Coast and West Coast of the U.S., in the Middle East, and in the area of the South China Sea. Newly declassified video of an American military drone conducting surveillance in the Middle East showed a UFO, an unidentified object, zipping in and out of frame. If the video is slowed down, it appears to show a metallic spear. But where it came from and what it was doing remains one of many such mysteries to the Pentagon. According to the Pentagon, there is no credible evidence of any of the still unidentified objects coming from outer space. However, the Pentagon said a small number of them exhibited advanced flight characteristics which indicate they may have been developed by China. This acknowledgement comes after the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a report in January which disclosed that its office had tracked a total of 510 UFO sightings since 2005. That was up significantly from 2021, when ODNI had reported just 144 total sightings. Of the 366 new sightings reported in the January report, 26 were characterized as drones, 163 as balloon-like objects, and 6 as aerial clutter, with the remaining 171 unexplained, some of which exhibited unusual flight characteristics or performances and require further analysis. So, from what they're saying, most of the UFOs they're observing, they're off the west coast, they're off the east coast of the U.S. and the west coast of the U.S. Not so much in Midland America, more so by big bodies of water, like right by the ocean, right on the coast. And then they say there's a lot of UFO sightings, they're tracking a lot of it over the Middle East, where there's been a lot of turmoil, and there's been a heavy American military presence in the Middle East for a while now. It's been dialed back recently, but in recent history, there's been a lot of U.S. military presence there. And also in the South China Sea, which will be, I believe, if World War III comes, if it's not already here, the South China Sea will be the most pivotal part of that war. The South China Sea will be heavily, I don't even want to go into the possibilities, but things are going to get crazy in that area. You may see China try to take Taiwan, Japan, various other islands. You never know what may happen. And the U.S. military has strategically tried to place more military bases and stuff around that area as well. So there's going to be a lot of turmoil in that area if things eventually go down, all right? So it's odd, I will admit, if they're telling the truth, that all of these UFOs they're tracking, it's all in like pivotal spots. For instance, if we were to get into a military conflict and another military wanted to attack the U.S., of course, they're looking at the coast, the East Coast, the West Coast. They're not necessarily looking inland. No, what's going to be the easiest part to attack? Where would be the easiest areas to infiltrate? And then on the coast, that's where you're getting all of your supplies and goods. So it's almost strategic. So the fact that they're saying that the UFOs they're tracking are mainly off the east and west coast, that's something that maybe makes you raise your eyebrows, like, okay, why here? And then they say a lot of them are in the Middle East. And we know that America has had more influence in the Middle East as of late than I believe China would like. So if these things really are from China, the areas they name make sense. Of course, China would want to observe the east and west coast of America. Of course, they would want to keep a close eye on the Middle East as, influence from America spreads throughout these countries. Of course, they would heavily concentrate on the South China Sea, because that is strategically where they're going to be really concerned about if some conflicts do pop off. So all of that makes perfect sense to me. But at the same time, it's like there's no denying that we've reached this time where they seem like they want to be more open about this info on UFOs. But it's almost as if they're just strategically releasing this stuff and painting it out to be, oh, it's China, 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 China. Now, has China developed new weaponry and new technology so far advanced that we wouldn't even know that technology exists? Does China have technology so far advanced that we can't even explain it with physics? Like, we can't even understand how it's humanly possible for them to have, objects that could fly and maneuver this way, right? I find it hard to believe that China would be so advanced in this technology, so advanced to the point that we can't explain it and we have no idea what it is. Now, I don't find it hard to believe that they may be a little more advanced than us when it comes to certain things. Maybe they have some weaponry and missiles, like the hypersonic missile, that's more advanced than some of our stuff. But to be just so otherworldly, far out there to the point that they got like UFO alien technology flying around and we don't know what it is, I find that hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that America wouldn't have something just like it, or at the very least know how these things operate. But from what they're saying, we have no idea what this stuff is. We have no idea where it comes from. We have no idea how it operates this way, but we're basically just going to blame China. That's basically what this looks like to me. So I don't think they're being really truthful about this stuff. I think that we have advancements in technology here in America that most people don't know about and that we don't want people to know about. I think it's likely that some of these UFOs could just be American technology. But I really don't think that we can explain all of this stuff away by just blaming other countries and saying that these other countries have all of this advanced tech. I really do believe that some of this stuff is coming from other places. And I believe, I'll take it one step further, I believe that they know that. But instead of releasing videos and being honest with us about what's going on, they'll release little videos and use them as an excuse as to why, hey, we need war with China. Because I can't ignore the fact. I know some people maybe you can't see it. But it's obvious that they're ramping up talks about military conflicts with China. That's become really obvious. There's a lot of things that have happened recently that we wouldn't even know about if they didn't want us to know about it. And the only reason they want us to know about it is because they want us to be more accepting of a future conflict with China. I feel like that's what they're setting us up for. I feel like they're putting us on that path. I feel like it's almost like an amusement park ride. They got you in the ride. You done walked through the queue. If you've ever been to Disney World or Universal Studios, you know how when you go on a ride, you got to wait like an hour in line. But while you're waiting in line, there's a queue. And you're looking at like props and things that go along with the theme of the ride. That's kind of like where we've been. We're in the queue, walking through the queue, and it's like, hey, remember, hey, this is why we should go to war with China. Or, hey, look, China's got this military equipment. Hey, look, Chinese spy balloon. Oh, look, China surrounded Taiwan. And it's like they're kind of just prepping you for the ride that is ahead. That's what the queues are for at Disney. Like when you go ride Space Mountain, as you're waiting to ride the ride, you're walking through this futuristic little place with like costumes and astronaut suits on the side of you and aliens. That's what this is. Except it's China. You're walking through the queue before you get on the ride and you get strapped in. And by the time you make it to the ride, they're going to put you in the ride, they're going to strap you in, and bam, now it's too late. Now it is way too late. Your friends, your loved ones, your kids, your grandkids, your neighbors, they're already being shipped off to war a war with China. And we're all, well, not all of us, but a lot of people will sit around and be like, how did this happen? How did we get here? Well, obviously, you were not paying attention while you were in the queue. If you paid attention while you were in the queue, you knew what the ride was going to be like. You knew what the ride was going to be about. So a lot of people will be on this ride and will know how we got here, while others will be shocked. And they'll pretend as if like there was no signs, there was nothing here to show us what this was all about. But the signs are here. Just pay attention. I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that. But I mean, it's just looking so obvious at this point. Hopefully something dramatic happens to change the course of where things are going. Because I would like to live in a peaceful world. And I know we'll never achieve like world peace per se. But at the very least, I definitely would like to live a full life without having to worry about nuclear warfare and superpowers colliding in my lifetime, or in my kid's lifetime, or in my kid's kid's lifetime. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.